Good morning. This is Dr. Woodson. I want to talk to you this morning about several situations that have been taking place um, in a few major cities on a particular date. And as I talk to you about this, I want you to remember the date, the timing of the events, and the political and social climate we're living in right now. And I want you to correlate these events by looking back in history at times when these types of things happen, like protests or movements, what patterns that you pick up on. I had a premonition the other day, the 4th of July, when I look back in hindsight at the presidential events, the tearing down of monuments, the Black Lives Matter protests. But I want you to remember, this isn't only a Black Lives Matter protest. This is a protest of many groups protesting for structural system change. So don't get caught up on specifically Black Lives Matter. This is what the media wants you to do. So let's get back to what I'm talking about. We know that there's a history of CIA and COINTEL programs that put together strategic covert activities to stifle, interrupt, and confuse movements. There are several things that came to mind about this particular time and particular events. The mass shootings of children and Blacks within crowds that go unsolved, but go reported in the news at specific strategic times, like the shooting in Chicago about a month ago. Large numbers. No one seems to know who they were or who they are, but yet a large number of Black folk got shot. You got to understand, they set the CIA, COINTELPRO set the foundation for these types of setups because in the minds of people, they always say, oh, well, they put in the picture already that gangs are in Chicago. You know, Trump blew that whistle several times, MS-13. So they set the intellectual precedence in your mind that this is gang. But let me tell you something. This government is using that and other means, clandestine, covert means, to do these drive-bys and to do these killings as a method to divert and detract and cause confusion about the movement. Look at the dates and look at the times and look at the events. They happen all on 4th of July weekend. And the news is reporting it specifically the day after. All in the face of what the movement is trying to do, quote unquote, defund the police department. So what does this do? It causes confusion, but correlates with what the police and criminal justice department wants not to do, and that's not be defunded. So create a scenario of criminal guns on the street and crime is elevating so that we could show you that defunding the police as part of the movement is null and void, that Black on Black crime is existing at a higher rate, particularly on 4th of July. To me, that is too evident. And for Black folk to be running out here jumping on the bandwagon, don't fall for it. Do not fall for it. Intuitively, this thing is planned, it's strategic. I'm telling Blacks in Atlanta, in Chicago, in Philadelphia, and anywhere else, put your thinking caps on and understand what's taking place here. Don't let them shift the narrative. Don't let them try to infiltrate this movement and try to play it down and put it back into what they want. And that's a giving up. We must not allow these COINTELPRO tactics to have us disembark. But we also must be smart. African Americans we told you to stay home on 4th of July. We told you it was a blackout. We told you. But I'm telling you, some of you Blacks don't get it. Some of you African Americans don't get it. You want to take your ass out on the street on the holiday instead of staying in your neighborhoods and staying home until this COVID shit is over. When we say blackout, we mean blackout. So now some of you have paid the price and been injured by bullet shootings by no one knows who. No one knows who did it. Isn't that odd? In all 3 cities, no one knows who did it. No one's been captured. No one's been, taken to jail. No one recognized who did it. Just random killing, right? Killing innocent kids and children. You think that's what Black folk do? But they would try to have you tie this into an old narrative that it was a gang fly-by shooting. I believe, and I'm being honest with you, it's terroristic shootings done by the government. It's done and implemented by the government. I don't put anything past Trump's criminal justice, Department of Justice, CIA system to stop this movement. Why aren't these mass shootings being reported by someone? Someone saw something. Someone recognized something. All these cameras around here, no one recognized nothing. Innocent kids was hurt and killed. Hundreds. And particularly in Atlanta and Chicago. You need to sit back and think about this for a minute instead of reacting. Understand where it's coming from, why it all happened on the same day. At the same day, Trump is preaching, we're going to put this shit down. I need you to put your thinking caps on, people. And stop being foolish. Stop gathering in situations where you're not going to be mindful and pay attention. You usually have your phones and cameras out for everything else. Why aren't you having your phones and being more astute about when you're out in large events like that, who is on the peripheral shooting at you? Because they don't like Black Lives Matter. They don't like the movement. They don't like what they stand for. They don't like where the society is going right now with Blacks standing up. It's another form of lynching. Wait till you get in large crowds. Drive by in unmarked cars with tinted windows and fire and shoot people from afar, from hotel windows, from anywhere. But you guys aren't paying attention. And then it never gets solved. But there's some more numbers of Blacks being killed, less people to vote. Just like they used to steal young Black babies and throw them to alligators. Just like they used to lynch Black men and women from trees. Just like they shoot up people in churches. They come to those events and shoot up shit. So you guys got to remember, stop playing into this. Nobody Black did these crimes, I'm telling you. And the reason why I'm saying it, because they never going to find them. If it was really a black man doing that, if it was really somebody black doing that, they would find him. You can best believe that. You can best believe it. Blacks are not saying, oh, they don't. This is random event, random in neighborhood. You think somebody's going to say something. There's somebody out there asking anybody, did they see anything? Think about it. Think about it. They asking anybody, the news out there reporting, asking anybody, did they see anything and why? No. They just report it on the news and then get police officers to come on and say, oh, and you see their comments are very vague and broad, not conclusive, because they're not trying to do anything about it. This goes from the top up to the top down, to the bottom, from the DOJ, CIA, all the way down to the police departments. They're working their strategy while we're working our movement. You got to understand that. And if you're blind to that, you got problems. So I'm telling all you black folk in these major cities, wake the fuck up. Wake the fuck up. And don't fall for the okie doke. You keep the movement going. You keep the movement going. And about anything, you need to start arming yourself. It's your constitutional right. If you're out there in these situations, you need to arm yourself. You need to protect yourself, and you need to be mindful who's around you. You need to be mindful, but don't stop the movement. And don't be out there partying, thinking it's all the fuck over, because the partying is over, motherfuckers. You party when we get what we want. The rest you're going to be dying getting there for no real reason, and it's never going to be solved. Drive-bys that nobody ever saw. Nobody ever gets to just 60 people in Chicago about a month ago, and another 30 or 40 people over the holiday weekend. Come on, this is too patterned for me. And you should be waking up to that too. Ain't nobody just up riding by, randomly shooting people. That's the narrative they want you to bite onto. Don't bite. Don't take the bite. Don't take the bite. Listen to what I'm telling you clearly, folk. You already got killing yourself due to COVID, and now you want to go against the grain and, allow them to continue to kill you. It's not happening in white neighborhoods. You don't see COINTELPRO driving by doing drive-bys because the narrative doesn't fit, does it? They would have fit in a black neighborhood because that's what we used to hearing, and that's what the media's used to pushing. But guess what? There ain't no big gangs like that in Atlanta. We're going to say MS-13 is in Atlanta just shooting up innocent people on 4th of July during the COVID movement, during the COVID and Black Lives Matter movement. Don't make sense to me. This is a random covert CIA, Department of Criminal Justice, COINTELPRO operation. And you need to see it that way, period. So when they're putting it all over the news, put your thinking caps on and watch them push this narrative. But don't you give up this fight. That's all I have to say. And for all you dumb ones, stay the fuck off the street.